All right, let's get ready to dive deep into some DIY photography hacks. We're going to uncover some creative tricks using stuff you probably already have around the house.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will love these.
Totally. You're ready to turn your household junk into like photography gold.
You know, what's really cool about these hacks is that they all connect back to those basic photography principles like lighting and composition. But yeah, so we're not just gonna, tell you the how. We're gonna uncover the why behind each trick so you can really understand how they work, maybe even come up with your own variation.
Exactly. It's like we're giving you the secret decoder ring for photography. So we've got this whole stack of articles, right?
Good.
Filled with all kinds of creative tips and unconventional techniques. Our mission for this deep dive is to equip you with a toolbox of these surprising and easy to implement photography tricks.
That's right. And the best part, we're using stuff you probably already have at home.
It's all about being resourceful, seeing the potential in ordinary things.
Absolutely.
Okay, so first up, let's turn your house into a photography studio.
Ooh, I like it.
We found all these articles with ideas for using household items as photography tools, stuff you'd never even think of.
It's amazing what a little ingenuity can do.
Yeah, did you know you could use a steam iron to create like dramatic steam for food photography? Oh, that's a classic one. Just imagine those mouth-watering shots of a steaming bowl of soup or a freshly brewed cup of coffee.
Yeah, the steam just adds this whole atmosphere, makes the food look, well, fresher and more appealing.
Totally. It's such a simple trick, but it makes a huge difference.
Okay.
And get this, a hairdryer can be your secret weapon for like dynamic portraits.
Really? How so?
You can create a like natural windblown look. Add some movement and energy to your shots.
I see. It's about introducing a bit of controlled movement, right? Makes the portrait feel less posed, more alive.
Exactly. And hold on, you can even use a hairdryer to create like those rippling water effects for drink photos. Yeah, just gently blow some air across the surface of the liquid, and bam, you get those enticing ripples. Adds visual interest and texture to your shot.
Love it.
Now, here's one that totally blew my mind. A Swiffer mop can actually be used to create these smooth video transitions. Wait, a Swiffer mop? Yeah, like almost like you're using a drone. It's crazy.
Okay, I bet I got to see. How does that even work?
It uses that swivel head for controlled panning and tilting movements.
Ah, that makes sense.
It might not replace a dedicated gimbal for professional level smoothness, but it's an awesome low budget option for experimenting with movement in your video.
Right, for sure.
So we've seen how a steam iron, a hairdryer, and even a Swiffer mop can be repurposed for photography.
Yeah, who knew?
But wait, there's more.
Always more.
Did you know you can use a simple sponge to add texture to still life photos?
Really? A sponge?
Yeah. Or even as a riser to elevate smaller objects in your composition.
It's all about thinking outside the box.
Right. And speaking of unexpected uses, don't toss out that old spice rack just yet. It can actually be repurposed as a photography prop.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, for showcasing like products on different levels.
Brother, I like it.
All right, now let's move on to the world of DIY lens kilters and light modifiers. This is where things get really interesting.
Okay, yeah, let's dine in.
It's amazing how simple materials can mimic those professional effects. It opens up a whole world of creative possibilities for photographers, especially those on a budget.
Absolutely. Makes photography more accessible for everyone, which is awesome.
For example, you can create those anamorphic style lens flares that you see in movies just by using fishing line.
No way, really, a fishing line.
Yeah. You just attach the fishing line vertically to your lens hood and you get these incredible streaks of light. Adds a cinematic touch to your photos.
Wow, I never would throw that. So the fishing line basically acts like a diffraction grating, bends and splits the light.
You got it. And who knew plastic bags could be so versatile? They can actually diffuse light, creating a softer, more flattering look for portraits.
Like a DIY softbox.
Exactly. The plastic bag scatters the light so the shadows are softer and the light is more even.
Makes sense. It's all about manipulating the light.
Right. And this is why it's so great for portraits. Creates a more flattering look. But wait, there's more. You can even use mouthwash as a colored filter.
Wait, hold on. Mouthwash? Are you serious?
I know, it sounds crazy, but it can give your photos a unique, almost radioactive look.
Whoa. Okay, I gotta try that. So is it the color of the mouthwash that creates the effect?
Yep. The blue or green acts like a color gel, adding a distinct hue to the light passing through.
That's so cool. What a fun and inexpensive way to experiment with different colors and nude.
Totally. Okay, so we've talked about DIY lens filters using things like fishing line, plastic bags, and even mouthwash. Now let's explore using household items as light modifiers.
Okay.
I read about using aluminum foil to create a DIY bokeh background.
Oh yeah, bokeh, that dreamy, blurred background effect.
Exactly. You crumple up the foil and place it strategically behind your subject.
Right.
Creates these uneven surfaces that reflect light differently.
And that results in those beautiful bokeh patterns. You've got it.
It's such a simple yet effective way to add depth and visual interest to your photos.
Love it.
And for those tricky reflective surfaces, packing materials like cardboard or styrofoam boards can be lifesavers.
I can see that.
Yeah, they act like reflectors, bouncing light back onto the subject and reducing those unwanted reflections.
Exactly. It's a great way to control the light and enhance the clarity of your photos. It's actually a technique that's often used in professional studios, but you can easily recreate it at home using, everyday materials.
Exactly. So we've covered using things like fishing line, plastic bags, even mouthwash for DIY lens filters. We've also explored using aluminum foil and packing materials as light modifiers, but there's still so much more to uncover.
I can't wait. Now, let's get into some more creative techniques using even more kind of unexpected household items. You'll be surprised what you can achieve with just a bit of, imagination.
All right, I'm ready. Let's get those creative juices flowing. So I read about using flour to create dramatic smoke effects, like in photos.
It's a great technique, yeah, for adding a sense of drama and mystery. You use a balloon pump to kind of puff the flour into the air behind your subject. You create these like billowing clouds, really enhance your photos. It's a bit messy about.
Yeah, I bet. But the results can be like really stunning.
Absolutely.
Like creating your own little flower storm, but in a controlled environment.
Exactly.
Speaking of unexpected ingredients, I also came across this trick for using hair conditioner to create fake ice cream.
Oh, yeah, that's a popular one for food photography.
So it's for when you're shooting ice cream, but it melts quickly under the lights.
Exactly. You mix cornstarch with hair conditioner, and it creates a really realistic-looking scoop of ice cream. And it holds its shape perfectly. No more melty messes.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
And speaking of aluminum foil, it's not just for bokeh background.
Yeah,
You could also use it to create interesting, like textured backdrops, right?
Absolutely. You just crumple it up and play with the lighting a bit. You can create these beautiful reflective surfaces, adds depth and dimension to your images.
It's amazing what you can do with just some aluminum foil. Okay, I'm excited for this one. Let's talk about breaking photography rules.
All right, so remember, rules are meant to be, guidelines, not strict dictates. Sometimes breaking the rules can actually lead to the most compelling results.
Right. It's all about understanding the rules so you can break them intentionally. I have to admit, though, I'm a little nervous about going rogue. Where do we even start?
Well, think about, like, the rule of thirds, for example. Dividing your frame into 9 equal parts. It's great for creating balanced compositions, but sometimes breaking it can create a more dramatic, impactful image. Imagine like a powerful portrait where the subject is dead center, staring right at the viewer.
Ooh, I can see it. That intense eye contact, breaking the expected composition.
And exactly.
Makes a statement. Okay, what about introducing blur into photos? Isn't sharpness always the goal?
Well, not always. Blur can be used creatively, like to convey emotion, evoke emotion, maybe even create a sense of mystery. Think about like a dancer twirling in a dimly lit room. The blur captures the movement. Or a landscape, shrouded in mist. Soft focus adding an ethereal quality.
It's like you're using blur to paint a mood rather than just capture a scene. Hello, Bear. Okay, so what about grain? Isn't that something photographers usually try to avoid?
Grain or noise is often seen as an imperfection, yeah. But it can also add like texture and character, a vintage feel to your images. Think about those classic black and white photos with their beautiful grainy textures.
It's about using those imperfections to your advantage. So we're talking about breaking the rule and doing it like strategically.
Exactly. For example, you could break the active space rule, leaving space in front of a moving subject. But by intentionally cropping the image tightly, you can create a sense of urgency, tension, maybe even claustrophobia.
It's like you're using composition to tell a story. Wow, this is making me rethink everything. So We've explored this whole world of DIY photography hacks from like turning household items into studio tools, experimenting with techniques, even breaking those photography rules. What does all of this mean for our listener?
It means, you don't need all that fancy equipment to create amazing photographs. It's about embracing your resourcefulness, exploring the potential in everyday objects, and, letting your imagination run wild.
It's about unlocking your creativity and
Mhm.
having fun while doing it. Okay, time for a quick recap of all this DIY photography awesomeness we've uncovered.
Sounds good.
We started by, raiding the house, turning everyday items into photo tools, like steam irons, hair dryers, even Swiffer mops could be so versatile.
It really goes to show you're surrounded by potential tools. It's about seeing those possibilities and not being afraid to just try stuff out.
Then we are all crafty, making DIY lens filters and light modifiers,
Yeah.
fishing line for lens flares, plastic bags for soft lighting. Who needs all that expensive gear, right?
It's true. Plus, these hacks, they really show how understanding even just the basics, like the fusion, refraction, can help you get those professional looking results without breaking the bank.
We even tried out some like seriously creative techniques
Yeah.
using flour for smoke effects and hair conditioner to fake ice cream. Amazing what you can do with a little imagination and some stuff from your pantry.
It's all about resourcefulness.
And
Sometimes the most unconventional solutions, they lead to the most creative results.
totally. And of course, we couldn't forget about breaking those photography rules. We talked about breaking the rule of thirds on purpose, adding blur, even using grain to make our photos better.
It's a good reminder that rules are, they're more like guidelines. Once you understand them, you can break them strategically.
So, what does this all mean for you, dear listener?
Well, it means you don't need a fancy studio or kind of equipment to create amazing photos. You can make something incredible with everyday items and a little bit of, well, creativity.
Exactly. It's all about unlocking that creative potential and having fun, right? Of course, always have fun. Now, here's something to think about. We've talked about a bunch of awesome hacks today, but what other hidden gems are, hiding in your home? It's waiting to be turned into photography tools. What everyday objects can you reimagine? And what rules are you ready to break to discover your own style?
Don't be afraid to experiment. Photography, the journey. And sometimes those unexpected paths lead to the most rewarding results.